As you rightly said, we were born on April 2022. And I think we've done decently well. We today cater to roughly about 2.2 million clients, about 22 lakh clients. So in perspective, we add one client every 4 minutes. At peak, we were doing roughly about 30 lakh orders, which means we were executing roughly about 8,000 orders every minute. Over the period of time, retail has become a very formidable force in the market. Roughly about 30% of the turnover is now controlled by retail. 30% of the turnover is controlled by retail.
एक ज़माने में तो less than 10% था. Stick to investing. It's if you have a full-time job, आप उसमें ही रहिए.
Absolutely.
जो भी आपको invest करना है, that is probably better.
I won't be surprised to see this at about 2.5-3 lakh crore in the next 4 to 5 years.
Wow. Just for my general knowledge, वो under the hood होता क्या है? Like on a big trading day when the market opens and there's like a massive move up or a massive move down, and there I am on my app or on my desktop or laptop or whatever it is, सब कुछ freeze हो गया. In general, in these last 3 years, if I were to look at it, how have the low-cost platforms changed investor behavior? 78% of our viewers aren't subscribed. Help us out, folks, and hit that subscribe button and help us bring you more incredible guests. Folks, welcome to Paisa Vaisa. I'm your host Anupam Gupta, and on today's episode, we have a returning guest, Arun Chaudhry, Director and Chief Business Officer at m.Stock by Mirae Asset Capital Markets. Arun, welcome back, this time face to face. 3 years ago in August 2022, the episode which is there for our audience is, I think it's audio only. So it's great to have you here in the studio. Thank you so much for joining us today.
I'm super excited and thank you for having me here.
Yeah. Before I get into what's been happening in the last 3 years, I just give our audience a recap. Because I like the fact that when you say m.Stock, the association with Mirae is not there. Okay, so walk us through what the ecosystem at Mirae looks like.
Sure. So it's a very, very old brand now, a very known brand now in India. It's primarily a South Korean firm. But I'm glad to tell you that across the genre of businesses, we are able to service our clients now, starting from discount broking to full service broking to NBFCs to venture capital. Oh. So that full scale of business is right now available. Starting in 2008, I think we're the only foreign firm which is today left in India, and I'll give you some more facts around that, which actually caters to a full genre of clients across horizons. Oh. Yeah. And to put some numbers there, I think put together as a group, we are now able to service in excess of about 1.3 crore accounts.
In India?
Yeah.
Wow.
And if you look at in perspective, if I just compare with the NSE active clients, so ideally we are servicing almost about 10% of the active client base. So every one customer across 10 people will have a Mirae Asset product.
And what are the operating entities in India from Mirae?
So the oldest and also the biggest today is our asset management firm, which roughly caters to about 70 million odd folios. After that, it's MACM. MACM was born around 2017, which houses 3 other businesses. m.Stock, which is the largest entity within MACM, which is the discount broking division. We have our institutional business. We have our investment banking division. We have a separate NBFC, which was started about a couple of years back, doing very well. We have a venture firm as well.
Nice.
We are involved in some of the marquee deals, which you, I'm sure, would have heard about. Sure. So that's the expanse of the entire setup of Mirae in India.
Okay, now m.Stock, what's been happening since we first spoke?
I think
almost to the, like we're recording here today in August, and your episode had aired in August 2022. So what's happened in the last 3 years? Tell us.
It's been exciting, and let me put it this way, it's been a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
Not only from a business side, but also the environment has changed so much. We have a very regulated environment, which is now under the hands of people who are having a very close watch. So regulations have kept us busy. We've been growing. So as you rightly said, we were born on April 2022. And I think we've done decently well. We today cater to roughly about 2.2 million clients, about 22 lakh clients. So in perspective, we add one client every 4 minutes. At peak, we were doing roughly about 30 lakh orders, which means we were executing roughly about 8,000 orders every minute.
Okay.
Yeah, and the 3-year journey I told you has been very exciting. To be very frank, I did not think that we'll grow so fast. And it's got its negatives also. Let me talk about the positives. In these 3 years, we've tried to ensure that the customer stays in the center of our proposition. And for that, we've been able to deliver a lot of unique products. MTF, we were the first ones to launch MTF with pre-pledge. We were the cheapest in MTF. We continue to be there. Margin pledge, API, the full suite of investment products, whether it is IPOs, ETFs, mutual funds is what we offer. Also, during this period, I think what philosophy that we carried from the group globally is, as I told you, to keep the customer in center. And the things which I'm very proud of is that we are the only broking firm today in the country which is among the top 15 and the youngest to be there in 3.5 years.
Oh.
Yeah. Second, we are the only foreign entity, Anupam, which is there in this top 15 rank. There is no other foreign entity operated from all locals.
Yeah.
So I think it's a competition. I think we now feel ourselves to be locals being here for a very, very long time. But I think the edge that we get to the consumer is we are trying to give them the global experience packaged into this app called as m.Stock now.
Yeah.
Okay. And I should not forget mentioning this, that I told you we are centered around the customer. So first entity to ensure that every information on customer is available on their account proactively. Our customer service team, and that is something that we take very, very seriously, is completely AI enabled. The point is that, one, why should my customer call me? If the customer is calling me, how do I ensure that on that call itself the resolution is available? So that's the entire thing. And before I complete the statement, I'm also very happy to tell you that over the next about a month, we are launching a 3.0 version of m.Stock. And why I'm mentioning this separately is that this version that we're launching, and I'm very sure I can stick my neck out and say this will be one of the best UI UX experience available. What people have been asking for is speed and stability, and I think we will end up delivering it here.
Yeah, that's a long way in these last 3 years. And what I really like about this entire thing is that when we were talking 3 years ago, our conversation started from cost, commissions, brokerage, zero, low, whatever you want to call it. And we've come now to, when you're emphatically saying that the customer is at the center of all this, there's technology, there is so much of transparency. In general, in these last 3 years, if I were to look at it, how have the low-cost platforms changed investor behavior? And there's a very big thing on trading, and we shall also come to that. But in general, how have these platforms, because now India has a very refined space in equity broking.
Absolutely.
Okay, or any broking for that matter, in the markets. Full service, to discount, low cost, whatever you want, everything is there. You want, research is there. You don't want research, only execution, that's there. What's been happening in the last 3 years to the industry in general?
So let me pull that a little more so that the difference becomes very clear. So, Anupam, over the last about 5-7 years, the period in which this industry got completely transformed, I think it's moved from a push-based business to a pull-based business. Why? Because traditionally, there was lack of information available. For everything, the customer was actually dependent on the broker. तो अगर broker बोलता है आप ABC कंपनी ले लीजिए, आपके पास बहुत कम information थी validate करने के लिए भी, should I buy, should I not buy?
Correct, yeah.
You go finding a balance sheet, very tough. You go find a cash flow statement, very tough. So end of the day, last word used to be broker's word. Brokerage used to be a black hole. आप कभी एक कॉन्ट्रैक्ट नोट खोल के देखिए. आज से 5 साल पहले आप प्रैक्टिकली PhD कर लेंगे ये सिर्फ एक कॉन्ट्रैक्ट नोट पढ़ने के लिए. So that was the kind of world that people were operating in. You rightly put it. Technology changed the dynamics to ensure that this reaches to the largest part of the country. One. Second, when the pricing changed, okay, which became a flat pricing, वो brokerage का जो हुआ था ना, that how much am I paying, broker को दे रहा हूँ या मैं कमा रहा हूँ, that was not clear. That has got resolved. Information today is available via multiple mediums. आप YouTube पे जाइए, आपके पास videos हैं, आप podcast करिए, आप वहाँ सुनिए. So ज्ञान बहुत जगह पे available है, transparency available है. What this has done is this has created trust, and of course the very, very valid role of a regulator, which has ensured that the customers feel they are protected. Has ensured that the industry has actually moved from a push industry to now pull industry. And इसमें एक बहुत बड़ा role COVID का रहा. COVID actually came as a very fortunate incident. Sorry for saying that, but for this industry specifically. बहुत सारे लोगों ने बहुत सारा पैसा बहुत जल्दी कमाया. Okay, so that is what actually spiraled amongst a lot of others via word of mouth. I told you saying that why don't you try, and then suddenly everything changed. And जो आप ये 5 साल की बात कर रहे हैं, if you look at the industry, it has really gone from 8,000 crore revenue pool to now 45,000 crore. And I personally believe this is just the beginning. It has ensured that the number of customers multiplied. About 6 years back, we had only about 4-5 crore demat accounts. Just a couple of days back, we received the news that the total number of demat accounts has crossed 20 crores. Okay. So it's really moved. People now have that confidence that yes, this becomes a very credible source of income generation, which I told you got escalated in COVID. इसके negative parts भी थे. I will talk about it. Technology ensured it penetrates to the largest part of the country. It's not limited to a Bombay or a Bangalore and Gujarat traditionally being biggest markets. We see a lot of inflow coming in from tier 2, tier 3. In fact, the largest coming in from there. So all of these things put together, I think now it's a very formidable place for people to make money. to generate wealth, to ensure that their hard-earned money now starts working for them. So that's, I think, the construct which has changed.
Okay. Now, you spoke about tier 2, tier 3 cities. Let's talk a bit about how the customer profile has changed. Tier 2, tier 3 cities is a great example. 20 years ago, this was just a metro, mainly western side kind of a driven business. I'm saying in the retailing. Let's not talk about the institutional part. Whereas in the last 5 years, it's become more prevalent across India. Has that been the trend in your case also? I mean,
Absolutely. I think if I have to give you some numbers, almost about 80% of the new customers which are coming to the industry today are from tier 2, tier 3 and onwards.
Okay.
That's been the trend. And we are no different. That's number one. Second, I think the major change has happened is that the newcomers have really started relating themselves with the industry. So if you look at the median age, over a period of 5 years, the median age actually has moved from 38 to somewhere about 30 to 31.
So it's dropped.
It's drastically
younger
dropped.
Are coming.
Absolutely. And these younger audiences not only are coming, they are influential. So for example, my son today can influence me, although he's not that old, but he can influence me saying that, Dad, why don't you try this option? Why are you stuck to only buying gold or property and things like that? So that trend is changing. Now what this is creating is a euphoria which I told you started from COVID. People made a lot of money very quickly. अभी problem क्या है, जब वो market में आते हैं तो perception बहुत गलत लेके आ रहे हैं. The perception that they carry while coming to the market is यहाँ पे overnight पैसा डबल होगा. I think that's a very dangerous factor. तो क्या होता है जब आप स्कूल में पढ़ना चालू करते हैं, पहले आप ABCD पढ़ते हैं, फिर आप sentences बनाते हैं. आज लोग सीधा sentence बनाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. Information is available, but the problem is how do you consume that? It is completely up to the customer. The problem is they are consuming the results first before they consume the efforts. So suddenly उनको क्या लग रहा है F&O market बहुत interesting है, यहाँ पे मैं 10 रुपये डालूंगा उसका 10,000 बन जाएगा. So somewhere the risk return philosophy is getting lost. I think that's becoming a very big challenge because अब क्या होता है जो spiral हुआ positive word of mouth से COVID में मैंने आपको बताया, अब वो negative word of mouth में बनता जा रहा है. Because people who started entering while the COVID phase was coming off went into the markets and अभी उन्होंने 1.5 साल में कुछ भी अच्छा नहीं देखा. Now they're going back saying that नहीं बनेगा यार. But I think the problem is that the entry and the perception about the market has to be realistic. You can't come to a market thinking that मैं overnight पैसा double करूँगा तो आपका construct ही गलत है. I think that's becoming a very huge challenge. Although there is a lot of education around it, but I feel, and I'm through your podcast, I would request a lot of people that please be realistic when you're coming to the market. This is not a place where you will double your money. So एक line किसी ने बोली थी and it stuck with me and बहुत अच्छी line है. कहते हैं कि if you want to make money quickly, it will take a lot of time.
Okay. Being a broker, आपको तो commission से फर्क, मतलब that's the main thing for you. अभी वो derivative से है, cash से है, आपको क्या फर्क पड़ता है? I'm just now being a bit of a devil's advocate saying that you benefit from people trading more and more, okay, and also investing, both sides of the game. Why do you think that you want this current crop of the last 5 years, and we'll get to the whole Jane Street thing also, why do you want them to be cautious? Because what's happened in the last 5 years is that the entire brokerage industry has benefited, na? Jitna zyada trade hua hai, the profits have been shared between one particular party and commissions and fees to the brokers. As that, someone who's probably benefited from that, why are you putting this note of caution?
Absolutely correct. And I think, glad that you asked this first. See, क्या होता है ना अनुपम, the basic point is that if you have a person who's coming to the market, what do you want as a company is that, one, you rightly put it, you should be able to at least generate business out of that individual and service him parallelly. But problem is that one, the person enters F&O, he not only loses his capital, but also the reserves that he would have kept with him. So what we personally as financial services entities want, that we should be able to service and carry on the journey of wealth creation with our customers. There is a happy customer who's making money, he will not hesitate giving you your share. But problem is when you come in, you put in all the capital thinking ye overnight hi double hoga, and then you end up losing it. They not only exit the market, but they will also influence other 10 people who would be wanting and thinking to come to the market.
Stay away, they'll say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we are then moving back saying that do we actually have 20 crore accounts, or we only have a spill which comes in then they go out. So today also the problem that the industry faces, मैंने आपको बताया 20 करोड़ अकाउंट है, बट जो ट्रेड करते हैं वो सिर्फ 5 करोड़ लोग हैं. एंड जो इनकम प्रैक्टिकली ब्रोकर जिनसे जनरेट कर रहा है वो एक से भी कम है. So from that perspective, is the industry so mature? No. And does that give you an opportunity? Yes. The opportunity that lies here is that are we as financial services firms able to influence our customers to the right direction so that end of the day they make money, you as business make money. I think that's where the entire orientation lies.
Okay, now if you just look at the concept of trading in the markets, okay, cash, F&O, whatever it is, it's a legit business. Matlab, if you remove the excesses, which obviously come in each and every market, in each and every bull run, and they vanish in the bear runs. If you were given a chance to educate people about trading, how to build a trading career, how to build trading strategies, do you think you would do that? Like, kya ho gaya na, because of this recent episode, the entire trading community has only been watched with a certain thing, ki to gambling hai, you will always... Now the brokers have to carry a message ki 90-95% of people land up losing money, which is a fact. I'm just looking now again at the other side. If you want the trading community to thrive in India, what's wrong with that, honestly? If someone thinks that that's his calling, that's his passion, why should he be stopped from that? Why has India's trading community not grown? You think that, these events are hobbling it or whatever?
No, excellent question. See, क्या होता है ना, अब how do you classify or differentiate between someone coming to trade and to invest? I think that's the fundamental belief. Abhi, let's take an example of two people. Let's take an example of Arun, who's settled in his life, doing quite okay, has regular income which flows in, versus let's take an example of Amit, who's just into the first job, started earning money, naya paisa haath mein aaya hai. Now, Arun, over a period of time, has matured and understood how to manage money. Yeah, he enters the market, he says, let's start with an SIP. Now let's start slowly entering into stocks. I have limited amount of time, so I leave it to the experts to manage it. अमित ने YouTube पे what you call शो देखा, उसने ये देखा वहाँ पे कि यार 4 लोगों के पैसे तो डबल हो गए, और वहाँ पे उसने समझा कि अच्छा डबल कैसे होते हैं, F&O के थ्रू डबल होते हैं. देन ही स्टार्टेड गोइंग डीपर. सो द ओरिएंटेशन ऑफ गोइंग डीपर वाज टू अंडरस्टैंड कैसे डबल होंगे. सो समवन टोल्ड हिम, आप ना एक काम करिए, निफ्टी का एक XYZ का कॉल खरीद लीजिए. तो अमित ने क्या किया, कॉल खरीद लिया. नाउ द प्रॉब्लम वाज दिस बैक्ड बाय एनी इन्फॉर्मेशन? नो. This was only backed by someone giving some advice which was not validated, and Amit went into it. अब क्या हुआ, अमित 1 लाख रुपए लेके आया था, वो 1 लाख रुपए धीरे धीरे खत्म हो गया, फिर वो अपना रिजर्व भी लेके आया, वो भी खत्म हो गया. That is where the problem starts. Now the problem is that trading is absolutely okay if it is done with the right amount of, one, knowledge. Second, most importantly, as you rightly said, passion. Third is the time required to invest and understand and educate yourself.
That's insane.
Exactly.
Anybody who wants to do that will have to put in.
अब उनको क्या मेहनत करनी नहीं है, समझना है नहीं, डायरेक्टली पैसा डबल करना है. So that is where the problem is happening. So problem is that आप एंटर करिए, आप ABCD सीखिए, फिर सेंटेंसेस बनाइए. So the mindset has to be very clearly defined. You want to be here, you want to educate yourself. Trading is a very good opportunity. So, Mr. Junjunwala's quote, and he used to very oftenly jokingly saying that, boss, investing से ज़्यादा पैसा बनेगा नहीं, पैसा trading से बनेगा. But then he invested his life into it. He really understood. That's the difference.
And folks, honestly, there are enough books out there for you to learn about legends. And George Soros is there. I think John Paul Tudor. I mean, there are so many successful traders in the world. I don't think any of them have landed up making a quick buck in the early part of the career. They've been at it for like 20, 30, 40, 50 years. God alone knows how long. It's not easy. Stick to investing. It's, it's, if you have a full-time job, आप उसमें ही रहिए.
Absolutely correct.
जो भी आपको invest करना है, that is probably better. Okay, now let's jump into this entire Jane Street thing. If you could just, I've not had any guest who's been able to explain this in very basic terms and not like a lengthy Wikipedia article. But how has this unfolded in front of your eyes over the last few years? What has really happened? Maybe our audience can understand that.
So I'll explain to you in a very layman example. There are, assume करते हैं मार्केट में सिर्फ 2 कस्टमर्स हैं, ठीक है. एक कस्टमर के पास बहुत पैसा है, दूसरा कस्टमर अपना छोटा पैसा लगाने के लिए आया. Now, although we understand that the Indian markets have become very big, but then big is very subjective. Assume करते हैं 100 रुपये का मार्केट है, उसमें 80 रुपये एक ही आदमी के पास है. अब जिसके पास 80 रुपये है वो बहुत कुछ मैनिपुलेट कर पाएगा. अगर मैं एक साइड पे धीरे धीरे 20-20 करके कुछ दिखाऊं तो दूसरे आदमी को दिखाई देगा कि यार मार्केट तो बढ़ रहा है.
करेक्ट.
एंड सडनली जब वो मार्केट बढ़ेगा, दूसरे लोग अंदर आना चालू होंगे, मैं बेचना चालू करता हूँ. दैट्स एग्जैक्टली व्हाट हैज बीन डन बाय जेन स्ट्रीट. दे स्टार्टेड मैनिपुलेटिंग द मार्केट्स स्पेसिफिकली इन द डेरिवेटिव साइड. So they artificially pulled it up, they artificially pulled it down and ended up making a lot of money. That those figures are anyways out. इसमें प्रॉब्लम क्या हुआ, जो रिटेलर था वो इसको ट्रेंड समझ रहा था, and then they get stuck. They get into over leverage position, and these people are very calculative. See, these people have big teams, they have smart systems who are doing this in and out. Practically to compete with them and as individual, you're nothing.
Impossible.
And that is where ये पूरा manipulation चला. Now, from a market perspective, I personally believe that over a period of time, the market has matured.
Yeah.
I don't think largely Jane Street episode has influenced a lot of market direction. And I give all the credit to the regulators, जिस तरीके से they've been able to track this and bust this completely. But I think market has got many other bigger things to worry. US के नए president हैं, वो तो रात को हर दिन मौका चालू ही रखते हैं. So I think from that perspective, I don't think the market is impacted much.
Yeah. Tell me, from the broking industry's business, what do they benefit from more? Is it both like people trading more, people investing more? Because people don't really invest every day. Okay, some of them might, most of us don't. Retail investment, मतलब क्या ही खरीदेंगे हम लोग? Once in a while, if the market falls or someone tells us, we do that. Most of our investments are through that massive 27,000 crore per month SIP number. But if you look at the business as it stands today, between trading and investing, how are things as far as the commission pool is concerned?
So from our perspective, or for anyone in the flat service, flat pricing perspective, it's quite same. In when a person trades, for example, मेरे platform पे तो अगर आप आ जाके delivery करते हैं तो completely free है. Okay. So practically as a broker, I don't earn anything in that. Whereas if you come and trade, I will start earning, in my case, you'll start earning 5 rupees per executed order. So अगर मैं pure broker की आंख से देखूंगा तो I would want people to trade. जैसे मैंने आपको पहले बताया, but that's not how businesses are functioning. There has to be a classic mix. एक परसेप्शन बहुत अनुपम मार्केट में कैचअप हो रहा है एंड आई थिंक लॉट ऑफ पीपल हैव स्पोकन अबाउट इट दैट दिस एफएनओ बूम इज टू बिग इन इंडिया. तो एफएनओ में क्या होता है, जब मान लीजिए आप एक फ्यूचर्स का पोजीशन लेते हैं, ICICI बैंक का अज्यूम करते हैं, लेते हैं, देयर इज नो रिकमेंडेशन एंड मैंने ICICI बैंक का एक फ्यूचर लिया तो 10 रुपये में मैंने 100 रुपये का पोजीशन करा.
करेक्ट.
वेराज जब आप वही ICICI बैंक कैश में खरीदेंगे तो आप 100 रुपये में खरीदेंगे
फुल प्राइस.
बट कंपैरिजन कैसे होता है कि ये 100 रुपीज का टर्नओवर वर्सेस कैश का 100 रुपीज का टर्नओवर तो दिखता है 30 टाइम्स 50 टाइम्स. बट एक्चुअली अगर आप प्रीमियम वैल्यू पे देखेंगे, जो आपने पैसा दिया दोनों साइड पे, तो इट्स ओनली डबल. तो इतना बड़ा हुआ है नहीं. Now you take it outside India, compare it to US, we are very small. So practically जितना बड़ा F&O market बाहर से लगता है उतना बड़ा F&O market है नहीं.
People don't get that.
Absolutely. Second, now let me tell you, पहले हम लोग बोलते हैं retail and we used to think कि retail तो छोटा होगा. But over the period of time, retail has become a very formidable force in the market. Roughly about 30% of the turnover is now controlled by retail. 30% of the turnover is controlled by retail.
एक ज़माने में तो less than 10% था.
बहुत कम था. In fact, month on month कई बार आप देखेंगे तो उससे भी थोड़ा ऊपर चले जाता है. We come down, but I'm saying that's the level now retail has started hitting. अगर आप domestic market को ही देखें ना, which is your DIIs, mutual funds हैं, आपके corporations हैं, और retail put together now are large.
They're large, they're very large.
So for example, आप देखिए पिछले 2 साल से FI पैसा regularly बाहर निकाल रहा है.
Correct.
And we've seen the best of bull runs happening last year.
Yeah. All the sellings getting absorbed.
So it's exactly. So it's not that आज retail छोटा है. Retail is sizable, and you asked about trading, investing. Even investors, okay, are doing sizable business.
Okay.
And from a brokerage stand perspective also, that this also creates other opportunities for us. See, end of the day, what I want is my customer, as I told you, should make money.
Yeah.
Investing is one opportunity, yes. Then there are other products available. Okay, we do advisory also in certain parts. We are planning to get into a couple of products. That becomes a spiral even for the customer, even for me. So, सिर्फ trading से पैसा कमाया जाएगा नहीं. You have to always be in an optimum mix.
What's been happening at m.Stock in the 3 years in terms of new additions to your product, acquisitions, anything else that which have helped you expand? Because you've grown sizably in the last 3 years. So what are the moving parts there?
So I think a lot of them, I spoke about this new thing which is coming in. Actually, that is completely created on the basis of our customers' feedback. I told you we acquire now almost about 1 customer every 4 minutes.
Okay.
We are doing roughly about 5,000 to 8,000 trades every minute. So from a size perspective, I think we've matured as a business. And I think I'll take the opportunity via a podcast saying that I think this growth also came as a surprise to us. So we had to run 2 battles. We had to run a battle saying that I have to ensure my customers' expectations are met. I think somewhere I was not 100% correct. Then that's what we are trying to fix now. Parallelly, I had to also ensure that I keep growing. So the growth part, I already mentioned that we ensured that whatever products that come out, for example, MTF is one of the products that is one of our flagship products. We created a pledge orientation. And I'm very proud to tell you that we are the cheapest and the best form of funding products available today in the market.
Yeah.
No one competes. बहुत लोग तो हमको होम लोन से कंपेयर करते हैं. So I'm saying from that perspective, a lot has moved in m.Stock. Second, I think where the energy of the team went was to ensure that we're able to build platforms that are not only scaled to be delivering to these 2.2 million customers, but also to the next 100 million that I will be able to acquire.
Okay.
So that's where the entire energy is going.
Okay, folks, we're going to take a small break out here. When we come back, we're going to talk about the entire margin trade funding, MTF, that Arun has referred to a couple of times already. We're going to talk about, of course, his outlook on markets and the investing ecosystem, and what are the common complaints that all people have when they use a broking platform. Don't go anywhere, we will be right back.
Did you know Indians report nearly 800 cases of online financial fraud every day, which has resulted in losses exceeding 1,000 crores in the last 5 years? To keep you safe from such fraud, I am starting my newest podcast series, Conversation with Vigilante, an initiative by HDFC Bank. In every episode, I will feature special guests who can share expert insights on the different types of fraud, their modus operandi, and how you can protect your money. Stay safe, stay vigilant, and don't forget to tune into Conversation with Vigilante. Catch the episodes on all audio streaming platforms and V for Vigilante YouTube channel.
And welcome back. Arun, let's jump into this here. This margin trade funding, MTF, is, it's become a big chunk for brokers. I think it'll be good if you can explain what exactly this is for people who are hearing this for the very first time. How is it used and how are you using that to, for the benefit of your customers?
Absolutely. See, it's a very simple product. So what happened was, as I told you, regulators started becoming very involved with how much leverage is the broker giving. And there were a lot of curbs that came in there. And parallelly, they also allowed, and this is one product that they allowed.
2 steps back. Assume that this question is coming from someone like me who only does cash.
अच्छा.
Okay, cash में तो सर मैं 100 शेयर XYZ का ले रहा हूँ, मेरे बैंक में होल्ड कर दिया, बात खत्म. Okay, उसमें तो मुझे कुछ, I do get this thing saying that buy 4 times more using leverage. Okay, so just maybe one step back as to, at the very basic level, what exactly is margin trade? I think it's a loan, right? I mean, how does that work?
Absolutely.
Under the hood, what is that product?
So, see, there are 2 ways of buying in the market. One is that you come with 100 rupees in the market, okay,
correct,
and you buy worth 100.
Correct.
Second is now margin trading, as you rightly said. What exactly is this? तो क्या होता है कि via margin trade facility, broker is allowed to fund certain percentage of your transaction.
Okay.
Now, when you say that I want to buy worth 100, okay, but I have only 10 rupees, broker is allowed to do this 90 rupees of funding. That's primarily margin trade.
That's it. Okay. Now let's move forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, अभी हुआ क्या कि when SEBI started putting curbs and they parallelly started allowing margin trade facility as a product, a lot of people started becoming interested from a perspective that, one, this product offered an ability to carry a delivery trade for a very long period and which was leveraged. So, for example, if I wanted to take a call on XYZ company for 3 years, okay, today there was only 2 options available. या तो मैं future लूँ, then I keep rolling it, बेचूंगा खरीदूंगा, or I get into the more riskier option orientation. MTF ensured that you get funding, you are able to carry it for a long period. It's like a delivery trade.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay. So that is where MTF was born, and you'll be surprised. 4 years, this book has actually multiplied almost 5 times. Now it is 90,000 crore.
In developed markets, it's a very common product.
Absolutely.
कुछ नया मतलब.
Absolutely.
No brain science, but in India, it's slightly.
Absolutely. और developed markets से आप compare करेंगे तो हम हैं भी बहुत छोटे. We are, I think, 1-2% of MTF margin funding in US. Now, पर्सनली फ्रॉम अ ब्रोकर स्टैंड पॉइंट व्हाट हैपेंस है, जब मैं आपको ये 90 रुपए देता हूँ तो उस पर मैं आपको इंटरेस्ट चार्ज करता हूँ.
Obviously, it's a loan.
Absolutely. तो फ्रॉम Mirae Asset perspective, जैसे मैंने आपको बताया, I charge 6.99 as a rate of interest. Now you can take this 90,000 from me and carry it till whenever. I will charge you annualized only 7%, 6.99%. So this gives the investor the ability to carry a long-term view on a company without having to have the full capital, and yet enjoy this holding period for a longer period. So that essentially is margin trade financing.
How is the interest charged to me? Is there a separate contract note? Do you debit it to my bank account each and every day, each and every cycle, expiry cycle each and every month? How does that work?
Absolutely. So it depends broker to broker. Yeah. So what happens is, जब आपने let's call it loan. So जब आपने 10 रुपए का कैपिटल लाके 90 रुपए का लोन मुझसे लिया अंडर MTF, उस पे मैं इंटरेस्ट चार्ज करता हूँ 6.99 पेसेस. इन आर केस इट इज बीइंग चार्ज डेली. तो आपके लेजर में जितने भी अमाउंट का लोन है, अज्यूम करते हैं 300 रुपए रोज का लोन है, 300 रुपए रोज का लोन माइनस होता जाएगा. नाउ योर पोजीशन इज नाउ मार्क टू मार्केट ऑल्सो. अज्यूम करते हैं कि आपकी 100 रुपए की पोजीशन 120 रुपए होगी, तो आपका पोजीशन बढ़ रहा है. वो अगर 10 रुपए नीचे आती है तो उतना कैश आपको लेके आना है.
Correct.
So you have to maintain that ratio of 10-90 always.
Yeah. And the thing is that since there's I'm assuming there's a power of attorney out here, the amount gets debited from my account straight away. It's
So
not
यहाँ पे power attorney की जरूरत नहीं है.
Okay.
Because the money is anyways in your ledger.
Oh, you put a hold on that. Okay.
We don't even put a hold. It's like a future. It's like a future ताकि वो M2M adjustment रोज होता है. तो मान लीजिए कल को जाके आपका जो ओवरऑल पोजीशन है वो ₹2 नीचे आता है. मैं assume करूंगा आपका कैश ₹2 नीचे आया. So I'll ask you to refill that money.
That's what I'm talking about.
So आप वो ₹2 डाल देंगे. Then you continue with that position. So every day that mark to market mapping होती रहती है. So plus minus is what happens. Plus the interest charging happens. So you can hold this position for a longer period. You pay me that interest plus you do the M2M calculations.
So how is this integrated in your product? Is there a UX, UI that the customer can easily understand? See, because again, for someone for whom this is relatively new, gets into a position which he did not anticipate, things go wrong, one fine day there's a big fall or a big jump in the market, he or she doesn't realize this. How is that communicated to the investor?
Oh, excellent यार. And you are asking something very relevant. See, what happens is, अब मैं आपको एक flow explain करता हूँ. तो मान लीजिए आप ABC कंपनी का शेयर खरीदने जाते हैं, तो मेरे प्लेटफॉर्म पे आपको सामने दिखेगा दैट देयर इज मार्जिन फंडिंग अवेलेबल इन दैट.
करेक्ट.
सो अभी आप क्या कर रहे थे, यू आर प्लानिंग टू पुट से 10,000 rupees. What my platform tells you is that if you want this 10,000 to buy you something worth 40,000, you can use this MTF. तो आप वो बटन दबा देते हैं.
Right.
Now अब आपका 50,000 रुपये का पोजीशन आपके पास आ जाता है.
Right.
Now every day you are able to track it like a position on your platform. So it doesn't come to you as a surprise. Every day the platform tells you कि सर आपका इतना पैसा बढ़ा, इतना पैसा कम हुआ. So that's available to you all the time. So there is no risk in this. There is nothing hidden. Every day the interest is charged which is posted to your ledger. तो शाम को आपको ये समझ में आता है exactly आपका interest कितना है, आपको कितना percentage लग रहा है. So that is how you track it on the platform. It's a very seamless, it's a very simple upfront journey which is available.
Yeah. How has this business grown and where do you see it going?
Oh, it's grown fantastically well. So I told you over the last about 3-4 years, this business actually has multiplied almost 3-4 times.
For the industry also, I assume.
From the industry perspective only, I'm telling you. For me, this is a 2.5-year-old story, and we are roughly at about 2,000 crore now. I personally believe that from an industry standpoint itself, I won't be surprised to see this at about 2.5-3 lakh crore in the next 4 to 5 years.
Wow.
If not a little bigger.
Yeah.
Because see, one, this is a very regulated product. Second, this gives an option to those investors to carry it on for a longer period. Otherwise, आज क्या था ना, इन्वेस्टर के पास कोई ऑप्शन ही नहीं है. वो ₹100 लेके आ रहा है, वो ₹100 का इन्वेस्टमेंट करता है, वो उसको फ्यूचर एंड ऑप्शन का रिस्क लेना नहीं है. तो फिर अब वो लेवरेज यूज कैसे करे? तो दिस इज दैट एंटिटी विच हेल्प्स यू गो ओवर दैट ब्रिज एंड से दैट आई एम सेफ. I want limited exposure. I should have transparency of where my position are, what is getting cut, how is it multiplying, and वो सामने देखता हूँ. So from that perspective, I think it's a very, very good product to the customer.
So my only fear is if it's prone to abuse. You know, if people are finding they're making a quick buck out of it, it can be this Jane Street all over again. I'm just wondering that are people using it responsibly, right? Is that because in my head when I hear something like this, I just think it reminds me a lot of a credit card. हाथ में मिल गया कि चलो बॉस स्पेंड करो, पैसे तो हाथ में देने 45 days के बाद we'll figure that out. And by the time the bill comes to you, poof, that I think that risk thankfully is not here in this.
See, there are very valid question, Anupam. So there are multiple reasons why this risk is not there. Although risk is there in every financial transaction, but it's drastically reduced. Reason one, this MTF facility is available only in select stocks. So in our case also, it is 900 stocks. How are these 900 stocks selected? On the basis of the volume they're doing, liquidity that they're producing, what's their what you call volatility parameters.
This is your choice. It's not something that
it's our choice.
Regulators have.
Correct. So regulator ने एक 1700 stocks का basket खोला हुआ है.
You can pick and choose.
Absolutely. Okay, so out of that 1700, we feel from a customer standpoint, 900 is something that is relevant.
Large and liquid.
Absolutely correct. तो पहली चीज तो क्या होता है? Since you're operating in that liquidity bucket, तो आपको sudden shocks नहीं मिलेंगे. That is number one. Number two, as you mentioned, versus से intraday trading में भी आप leverage लेते थे. Intraday trading में 40 times leverage.
Correct.
उसका मतलब क्या है कि आप ₹1 में ₹40 का सामान खरीदते हैं.
Correct.
और वो ₹40 अगर 1% भी नीचे आया तो आपका कैपिटल साफ. यहाँ पे the leverage is not more than 5 times because exchange and regulators say that अगर आपके पास ₹20 हैं तो उसमें आप ₹100 से ऊपर का leverage दे ही नहीं सकते. So that way the leverage is not unlimited. It is limited to 5 times. Of course, there is a downside also. But then that's limited. Third reason, which I think is one of the most important is why the transparency here. For example, option को समझने में ही बहुत टाइम जाता है. Premium value, time value, कौन सी erode हुई, कैसे erode हुई.
Greeks.
Yeah, exactly. यहाँ पे the only thing you're focused on is the stock that you're on. So, for example, if I believe that there is a ABC stock, I understand the fundamentals, I have taken research from someone credible, and I feel it's a long-term good bet. So, मैं stock पे betting कर रहा हूँ, and the underline is what I'm buying. वो underline का 20 times leverage product मैं नहीं खरीद रहा हूँ. So that's the main difference,
Very
and that's I think
interesting,
is from the customer standpoint protective.
ठीक है. What major customer problems have you guys been able to solve? Right now, usually when I have my conversations, with people offline or even in this show or even the comments that sometimes I get to the episode, some of the repeated complaints, top of them would be कि today on big days सब कुछ freeze हो गया. Okay, so that's complaint number one that I get to see a lot. Complaint number two is I think is a general lack of understanding of how contract notes are or how the dashboard is and understanding what your position is. A one screen view or something of that sort कि वो मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. Okay. And I think the third would be by customer service guy. Why do I have to speak to some bot or some, something of that sort? This is what I usually get from people. I don't know if your experience at m.Stock has been different as to the top 3 customer complaints that have been coming in and how you've been solving it.
That's exactly what the issues are. You absolutely pinpoint, and I think the customers have been validly raising that. See, क्या होता है जब आप गाड़ी खरीदने जाते हैं तो आपका टेबल स्टेक क्या है कि ये गाड़ी ठीक से चलनी चाहिए. Now, if on big days your platform fails, that means you're losing on opportunities. I think, as I told you earlier also, this is one of the things that we've spent the entire energy on. See, end of the day, pricing does not matter, research does not matter till the time your platform is able to execute it. We've not only created large teams internally, but also tried to capitalize on 28 years on Mirae global experience to ensure that technology is something that we take very seriously. The 3.0 release which I spoke of is something which takes care of this largely. See, there can be unknown events that can happen. But I can put my neck out and say, if it's not an unknown event, we will be right there. Point number one. Point number two, I'm absolutely with you when customers say that, boss, customer service kahan pe hai? Because क्या हुआ है, and I've been a customer to a lot of organizations myself. जब कुछ सामान आप खरीदते हैं तो people call you proactively. जब आपने खरीद लिया तो आपको उसको सर्विस कराना है ना, तो फिर आप 4 लाइनों में घूम के जाते हैं. Absolutely correct. What we've ensured is through technology and through people we solve this both. We've employed artificial intelligence machine learning on the platform. Okay. So as I told you, kal ko jaake what we did was, and this comes to my level, every complaint that my customer gives is analyzed individual complaint on complaint. After that, what we derived was there are only 5-7 areas where people want information. We've put it right up front. तो जब आप मोबाइल ऐप में जाते हैं, पहले आपको सेबी का इन्फॉर्मेशन देखते हैं. 9 out of 10 people lose money. Second screen that you go to on my app is everything that changed in your life yesterday.
Okay.
फॉर एग्जाम्पल, कल आपने एक MTF में प्रोडक्ट खरीदा था, एक्सचेंज ने उसका मार्जिन चेंज कर दिया, इसलिए मुझे आपसे थोड़ा और पैसा लेना पड़ा. आपने कल मोबाइल नंबर अपडेट किया था, वो अपडेट हो चुका है. आपने फंड विड्रॉल किया था, वो मैंने प्रोसेस कर दिया है. सो दिस इज व्हाट आई हैव पुट इट आउट प्रोएक्टिवली. नंबर 1. नंबर 2, वीव ऑल्सो, एज आई टोल्ड यू, डिप्लॉयड आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस. वो करता क्या है कि माई FAQ लाइब्रेरी इज राइट अप फ्रंट. That FAQ library automatically changes on the basis of any events that are happening on the platform. For example, ऐसा होता है, मान लीजिए मेरा कोई सर्विस नहीं चला.
Correct.
उसके बारे में 4 लोग पढ़ने आ गए, क्या है? Automatically that question comes to the top.
Okay, ठीक है.
Third, we are employing people to ensure that we are able to create very nimble, multilingual videos.
Okay.
To understand broking. Sure. You are absolutely right. लोग बोलते हैं यार ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, अब कस्टमर सर्विस में आप फोन करते बोलते सर ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट नोट में आपका आता है. अब वो 500 वैल्यू में से कौन सी वैल्यू मेरे लिए रेलेवेंट है? We've tried to simplify that. That's what we've done. Last, and I think most importantly, we've had people in customer service team. Customer service team, by the way, in my case is the largest team.
Oh, okay.
And I'm very proud of it.
Okay.
A lot of people say I want to reduce the number of people. I want to increase because end of the day, I want to ensure once the customer has been subscribed to m.Stock, the post-market experience is even better than the onboarding experience. So when you call my customer service people, one, we are trying to ensure that we answer every call in 3 rings.
Sure.
Second, we are making our customer service people intelligent. So for example, Arun calls the customer service agent and I say that ये XYZ चीज़ मेरे को पता करनी है. It's not that my customer service person goes hunting. ये जो आपने कस्टमर का स्क्रीन अभी देखा जहाँ पे मैंने बताया 4 चीज़ हुई, ये मेरे एजेंट को भी दिखता है.
Okay.
So that at least I know कि ये 4 चीज़ जो आप पूछ सकते हो मेरे को सामने है.
Sure.
उसके बाद we have tried to create internal systems where everything is available proactively. We've tried to integrate, although in very nascent stages, all these language models to ensure that I'm able to give my customer service agents also searching abilities.
Okay.
So that I don't take too much time to solve the question. See, this is market. मैं 5 मिनट में आपका problem solve नहीं करूँगा, वहाँ पे जाके आपको opportunity loss हो जाएगा.
Yeah, I know.
So that's what we are trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, because the thing is that today opening a brokerage account is not what it used to be 20 years ago, where there would be a 100-page document thrown at you. Now I can open it like that.
Absolutely correct.
Just for my general knowledge, वो under the hood होता क्या है? Like on a big trading day when the market opens and there's like a massive move up or a massive move down, and there I am on my app or on my desktop or laptop or whatever it is, सब कुछ freeze हो गया. They literally freeze. I have lost my position. I have lost what I started looking at a profit has become a loss. What really happens on those days? Because see, I know that as a broker, not all of this is in your hands. You're also using external software. Right? There's an exchange. There are a lot of things that are not in your hands. So just for the benefit of our audience, what really happens? Why do things go wrong?
See, glad you pointed this out. मैं आपको एक simple example explain करता हूँ. मान लीजिए किसी दुकान पे अमेरिका में एक ब्लैक फ्राइडे सेल बहुत फेमस है. तो ब्लैक फ्राइडे सेल में क्या होता है, एवरीथिंग इज अवेलेबल 60% डिस्काउंट, 70% डिस्काउंट. अब आप इसको स्टॉक मार्केट से रिलेट करिए. ट्रम्प साहब ने कल बोला 25% टैरिफ्स और. एवरीवन वाज एक्सपेक्टिंग दैट द मार्केट इज गोइंग टू टैंक. नाउ देयर आर सम पीपल सेइंग दैट अच्छा अभी तो 100 पॉइंट नीचे खुलेगा, मेरे को लगता है 100 और जाएगा. सम पीपल आर थिंकिंग 100 पॉइंट नीचे खुला है, रिकवर करेगा. नाउ यूजुअली अगर आपके दरवाजे से 4 लोग अंदर आ रहे थे उस सेल के दिन, अब सडनली 400 लोग अंदर आएंगे. आपका दरवाजा उतना ही है. So what happens is when too many people try to enter, usually these joints that we have with exchanges, with other platforms, they get choked. So ऐसा नहीं है कि मेरे तो सारे systems cloud पर deployed है. उसका मतलब क्या है कि मैं on run time basis कितना भी cloud consume कर सकता हूँ. That's unlimited. But मेरा connection exchange के साथ है, वो connection limited है. मेरा connection आज एक से XYZ data provider के साथ है, वो connection limited है. That is where failure happens.
Okay.
I'm not trying to say that we are right to be having this, but I'm saying what exactly goes wrong.
And I'm sure that these capacities have increased in the last 5
exactly,
and 10 years, and your software capabilities have also increased.
Exactly.
The number of people have also increased. So if it happens, folks. Sometimes, I don't know, just be kind on your brokers or whatever. Or like Arun has said that their customer service is really good. Please reach out to them. Okay, winding down the episode now. Arun, what's your outlook in general for the market, for the economy? What message do you want to leave our audience with?
See, I think one message, and I'll start reverse, is that the biggest loss that the customers today can face is being out of the markets, and that's for everyone. अगर आज आप मार्केट में नहीं हैं, तो अगले 5 साल वो सबसे बड़ा रिग्रेट होगा. Second thing, I think what has happened is when I entered broking and I started investing myself, एक टर्म होती है ब्लैक स्वॉन इवेंट्स. वो होता क्या है कि कभी 4-5 साल में कोई ऐसा इवेंट होगा जो सडनली डायनामिक्स चेंज कर देगा. अभी क्या हो गया है दैट ब्लैक स्वॉन जो अनप्रिडिक्टेबिलिटी फैक्टर ऑफ मार्केट था ना, वो बहुत प्रिडिक्टेबल होता जा रहा है. नाउ यू कैन विद रीजनेबल एश्योरेंस से इस हफ्ते में, महीने में कुछ ना कुछ 2 चीज़ होंगी. कहीं तो कोई किसी का लड़ेगा, ट्रम्प कुछ ना कुछ तो बढ़ाएगा, सडनली कहीं कोई इलेक्शन एंड थिंग्स लाइक. सो अनप्रिडिक्टेबिलिटी इज इंक्रीजिंग. सो प्रैक्टिकली वो वेरिएबल्स जो मार्केट को जज करने के लिए चाहिए, दे हैव रियली मल्टीप्लाइड. But is this going to impact our markets? Absolutely not.
Okay.
I think if you have a horizon of 3 years to 5 years, I can tell you, and you can write it on paper, you will not lose your money. You will lose your money when following things happen. When you react to these episodes.
Okay.
Trump increased, बहुत problem होने वाली है, निकाल ले पैसा. You will react to small losses. See, markets will not be in one direction. But if you look at this trend, ये ऊपर नीचे जाके longer term trends have always been positive.
Correct.
And that's how it's going to be.
Okay.
See, because more people are coming in. Okay, businesses are becoming more transparent. Economies are becoming far bigger. आज से 5 साल पहले हम 2 ट्रिलियन की बात कर रहे थे, अब हम सीधे 7 ट्रिलियन की इकोनॉमी की तरफ देख रहे हैं. So I'm saying there is no way for this market to go down. Shorter periods, please don't focus on that. Please focus on longer term trends. Please focus on your ability to participate in the market. हर किसी के लिए ट्रेडिंग नहीं बनाई, you have to accept that fact.
Okay.
अगर आप ट्रेडिंग करना चाहते हैं तो प्लीज अपने आप को पूरा डिवोट करिए.
Yeah.
आप उसके बेसिक समझिए, आप उसका रिस्क समझिए, तब आपको रिटर्न की तरफ देखना चाहिए. बट इफ यू लुक एट एन इकोनॉमी, आई थिंक वी आर वेरी वेल प्लेस्ड. इंडिया इज द प्लेस टू बी. FIs have gone out, but I think it's a matter of time they'll start coming back.
Sure.
Economy, if you look at results over a longer period of time, I think companies are doing quite okay. There will be periods of lower consumption, but now we are seeing shoots of consumption coming in from the rural, which is the first sign of things coming back.
Okay.
We have a tight regulator. We have a very, very solid government. I think the policies are absolutely in line with an increasing corporate sector also. So 5 saal, this is the place to be.
Okay. Now, one last question is that And I'd asked you this 3 years ago also. I'm asking it to you again because maybe some of the parameters have changed. But for someone who's watching our episode today, our show today, and he's never entered the market, he actually buys what you say and says that the biggest risk is to sit out. Okay, now he wants to get in. What should he look at when he's choosing a broker among the, I don't know how many apps and how many services and how many brokerages are there? If there was a checklist or a top 3 or top 5 things to consider, what would they be?
So, since I represent the platform, I would say close your eyes, choose m.Stock.
I know you're biased, but I also know that you can put that hat aside and just generally tell us what.
See, but I think the only thing that the person should think of is, can he or she trust the platform that they want to be in? आज क्या हो गया है, एक होड़ चलती है, which is उसने वहाँ खोला, मैं भी वहीं खोलता हूँ. उसने बोला अच्छा है, खोल लेते हैं. वो तो बहुत टाइम से ट्रेड करता है. But I think it's your money. The first thing that you should check out is that is the brand trustworthy? अब trust validate किया कैसे जाता है? Has the company been in existence for a long time? Second, is this the only business that they get into? Because क्या होता है जब आप पूरा bet एक business पे लगाते हैं तो you put 100% effort.
Always.
There are firms today who are doing 10 things and doing this versus a firm who's grown large doing only this.
Only this.
So that adds to trust. Third is don't go by the jazz. See, अभी क्या हुआ है? अभी we've entered that startup ecosystem, and I don't have nothing against that.
Yeah.
But you will see things changing. So suddenly क्या होता है? A lot of money gets pumped in. Startup is all over the place. You will see 100 ads coming in, but then suddenly things start weaning off. I would just try to summarize and say, look at trust. Because this is a financial relationship. You are not buying a chocolate. It's not that you will buy it from platform 1, then go to platform 2. You are putting in your money, and hence you have to be very sure that you're putting in to a company which you will be able to see through for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
I think trust is the only thing I would recommend people to look at.
That's very interesting, right? Because you're not speaking really about commissions or charges or costs or UX or UI, because that's common across everybody.
Absolutely.
उसमें क्या ही differentiate करोगे? The trust actually, folks, is really one of the basic and one of the most core things when you go to choose not just brokerage but any financial product. Okay, Arun, last question, standard question to all our guests. Any book or any content that you're reading, watching that you'd like to share with our audience?
Oh, so I'm a very different kind of reader. I'm a repeat reader.
Oh, nice.
So I end up reading a lot of books multiple times.
Okay.
There's one book which I think I would have read at least 8-9 times is the book called as The Execution from Ram Charan.
The Execution?
From Ram Charan.
Wow, okay. That's a classic. I mean, Ram Charan and Execution is like,
Yeah,
I think he wrote
yeah.
it in the early 2000s. And
Absolutely.
It's
And I've read the different versions of this book.
Yeah.
And see, personally, being in the kind of field that I'm in, so I meet 5 people in a day, whether in my team, in my office or other colleagues. Strategy is something that everyone speaks of. अपने को ये कर लेना चाहिए. But I think the classic magic that happens is how do you put it to execution. That's personally what I really believe.
Okay.
Larger organizations run on processes. Larger organizations run on the execution ability. If they are able to refine that, I think everything will fall into place. So that's one thing that I would recommend to everyone.
Amazing. No, I mean, because everybody has a big plan and a dream and a vision and all that, but it's the small things each and every day and repeating it and doing that over and over again. That,
Absolutely.
And who better than Ram Charan? On that excellent checklist of how to choose a brokerage and book recommendation, that is a wrap on this episode of Paisa Vaisa. My guest, Arun Chaudhry, Director and Chief Business Officer at m.Stock by Mirae Asset Capital Markets. Arun, keep coming back. Thank you so much for doing this for our audience.
Oh, it was a pleasure. It was a real pleasure doing it with you, Anupam.
Fantastic. Thank you, Arun.
Thank you.